Alright, so we're the philosophical team, and we believe that the philosophical ideas sparked the American Revolution. Our founding fathers adopted the revolutionary ideas from John Locke, and two of the most influential pieces of work is the Declaration of Independence and Common Sense, written by Thomas Paine. Both articles advocated for the revolution, and people came up with the idea of no taxation without representation, which the British government totally denied. Totally denied. The collision in ideas sparked the revolution.
So I'm going to start talking about John Locke. John Locke, he was an English philosopher whose works were used as a base for the American Revolution. So John Locke, I think of all the philosophers of that time, John Locke is the most important. There are others, for example, there's Rousseau and Montesquieu, but I think John Locke is the most important. He's the most important because he came up with three very important ideas that were used as a base for the American Revolution. The first one is that our lives are blank pages, and that people, when we are born, our lives are blank pages, and there's nothing written on it, so we are not divided by aristocracy or birth. We all born the same. He also came with the idea of the original contract, that in democracy, when you choose a person, this person has to do everything to guarantee your happiness and your freedom. And he also came with the idea of the natural law. The natural law is the most important idea because it's the idea that is basically written in the Declaration of Independence, that everybody has the right to life, liberty, and he said property, but in the Declaration of Independence it's written pursuit of happiness. So Philip, we'll talk a little bit more about the Declaration of Independence.
About the Declaration of Independence, the original draft of this piece was written by Thomas Jefferson and revised by the Congress and published on July 4th, 1776. In this piece, Jefferson adopted John Locke's idea of all men are created equal with natural-born rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that's what Thomas Jefferson came up. He made a little twist in this idea, but basically he just adopted John Locke's idea. And the quote from the original copy states as follows: "We hold this truth to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of this end, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it." And with regard to this quote, the British government went against the philosophies brought up in the Declaration of Independence. And it is also mentioned in the Declaration that he kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislature. And they too have been deaf to the voice of justice. And they imposed tax on us without our consent. So the main idea is
1 minute left.
So the idea here is that the British government do all kinds of stuff, including taxation, without people's consent. That's what caused the American Revolution.
Also, the written work of Thomas Paine. He wrote Common Sense. It was a pamphlet. He wrote in 1776, and one of the quotes from it was, "There is something absurd in supposing a continent to be perpetually governed by an island." And that caused an uproar within the colonies when the pamphlet was handed out throughout the colonies. And because of that, it caused a rebellion against the British.
I focus on no taxation without representation, and there's a lot of people think that the American Revolution started because they were upset about the money side of things, but it was more the fact that it wasn't their decision, or they didn't have any say in the decision to be taxed. And there's a quote that says, the colonists insisted that they enjoyed the same liberties, privileges, franchises, and immunities as residents of the mother country, and that the right to consent to taxation was a cornerstone of British freedom. So basically there was an uproar because of the idea that everybody is like a blank slate when they're born, and everybody should have equal rights and privileges, and they shouldn't be governed by someone when they don't have representation in Parliament.